Cody here, and welcome to today's episode of Bro Breakfast with Cody Gall. And yes, I am going to talk about Gab. Gab's gone. What is Gab, you might be asking yourself? It only had a couple 100,000 users, so in the social media world, it was a fledgling little thing. And I say was because I think it was either Monday or Tuesday that Gab went poof. Maybe it'll come back, and I bet you if it does, it'll probably overnight be more popular than it ever was before all this. That's kind of how these things go down. But only if it can happen before people totally forget about it. Which would, nowadays means quickly. But Gab was to Twitter what Real.video is to YouTube. It's just like Twitter, basically. Nashbo Jr., if you are familiar with Nashbo Jr., he had a Gab account at Nash_Bo_Jr. Not gonna lie, I don't think Nashbo Jr. had checked his Gab account in like 6 months, but it did exist. And look, I love Gab and Real.video for what they're doing because they are the next wave that's going to come. So I'm not putting them down. I'm just, at the present moment, I'm very established in Twitter and YouTube. So that's where I'm established, so that's where I go. But I feel like that the current generation of social media, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, it seems like it's this almighty thing right now. But I really feel like that it's going to be looked back at the same way we look back at Atari. Because Atari, in the late 70s, early 80s, owned the video game industry. And then they got greedy. And then there was a big market crash because of a bunch of stupid ideas, mainly from Atari, but also from Mattel. And then the video game industry just imploded in on itself. And then this company came out of nowhere from Japan. And so that's a lot of people's, in their mind, that's when video games started, is Nintendo. But no, there was this whole other chapter to the video game saga. And I think social media is going to go down like that, where 50 years from now, we're going to look back and we're going to think of Twitter and Facebook and YouTube as being like Atari, where they were just the launching platform, and then the big boys came into town. So Real.video might be one day more popular than YouTube ever was. And same thing with Gab if it comes back. I know that might sound crazy, but if you had gone back in time into 1982 and told some video game guy Atari is going to go away and be replaced by a Nintendo, which at the time just made arcade games, as well as Sony, which at the time just made televisions, as well as Microsoft, which I don't even think existed yet. And yeah, so you never know what the future holds. And so the reason why Gab is gone is because I've got this thing in front of me and I keep messing with it. And I'm a fidgety person. I'm going to stop fidgeting with that now. So the Pittsburgh shooter who went into the synagogue and killed a bunch of people, you just never can see this mainstream media. You can't ever see their moves to predict their moves. It's like I would have never predicted this. The guy that went in to do the mass shooting had a Gab account, and he posted a lot of white supremacist stuff, but he never posted. Apparently, Gab did keep an eye on this guy. And apparently he never posted anything that incited violence in any way. But he did post some things that most people would describe as hate speech. It wasn't just, I am critical of the Jews. It was, Hitler did nothing wrong type stuff. But not cute and lovable Millennial Matt way of doing it, but a legitimate I hate Jews kind of way of doing it. Which, it's one thing, that's racism, is to hate another race. But it's one thing to talk about how you hate people, but it's another thing to cross the line and say, I'm going to go kill them. He never crossed that line. And then he gabbed out, however you say it. Apparently, he must have had a mobile device. 4 minutes before he went in to do the shooting, he put out on Gab, I'm going in. And then he went in. So I'm going in means the person who is speaking to you is moving inside of something. The person who is speaking to you is moving inside of something. That's what that sentence means. I'm going in. The person who is speaking to you, is moving inside of something. That's not exactly a call to arms. Like, I'm going in could mean anything. Like, you could take a picture of, like, a cake that you're about to bake, and as you're putting it in the oven and from the cake's point of view, I'm going in. Like, it could be the most harmless, innocent thing associated with I'm going in, this 3-word sentence. So, but not in the minds of liberal media. Oh, no. Apparently, within the 4 minutes from when he said, I'm going in, to where he went and did that mass shooting, apparently the freaking SWAT team was supposed to be called or something. And the fact that Gab did not, within 4 minutes, respond in some, to call law enforcement or something, literally instantly. That's what they wanted. That meant that Gab was complicit in this mass shooting and let it happen. So therefore, Gab is some kind of a threat to common safety, to public safety. And what? That's even more extremely dumb than the whole hoax bomber thing. These people at this point are just going into the realm of total and complete insanity. And I just feel like we have to do something about these tech companies. The people out there who are saying, oh, no, they're private companies, let the market correct itself. You got the liberals that are saying they're private companies, they can do whatever they want because they think that they're on their side. And then the libertarians are saying, no, let the market correct itself. But if you're out there and you're a hardcore libertarian, do you agree that we banned asbestos? Do you agree that we banned lead paint and lead gasoline? Should we have let the market correct itself? How many people have to suffer and die in order for the market to correct itself when you're dealing with something that is legitimately dangerous? And these tech companies are legitimately dangerous. Not only is there all the dopamine stuff with how they engineer their platforms to begin with, where they engineer them to be highly addictive and to make people depressed and miserable, but then they're also literally trying to take over the world and right out in the open. And so, no, we have to do something about these tech companies. They are out of control. And it isn't just the social media platforms. It's also the payment processors and the internet providers themselves. Something's got to be done about them. Thank you for watching.